students, it's a little hard to adjust to a new environment, going everything online and making sure that you're being aware of like the emails and all of those things. I think, yeah, just regular student problems.
Yeah, I hear you there because I've had a lot of problems too with like just Zoom and technology. So, yeah, I
Mhm.
totally get it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you said that you are a psychology major.
Yes, yes, I am.
Mm-hmm. Is there like a specific area that you're focusing in?
So, the two options that I was looking more towards was industrial organizational psychology, which is psychology in the workplace and making sure that the overall satisfaction of workers is at its highest. And the other one was school psychologist, and with that, like they work kind of closely with speech language pathologists. The irony, but yeah, just focusing on kids and making sure that their educational needs are met and their mental health needs are also met.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never heard of IO psychology before.
Yeah,
That's
me
really
neither,
cool.
but I like the business like side of psychology, so I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Something that really um that's a really big thing within the Latino population is familism, which is the idea of putting your family first, kind of. Well, yeah, that's what it is. But I think that's something that I keep close to my heart, just making sure that my family's needs are met. Um, and I think it does play a large role of like what I would like to do in the future. But I also have to keep in mind that this is my future.
That's oh, let's write a book. That was good. That was very profound. Um, so like in general, you you were interested in psychology because of your own personal experiences, and then you learned more about it in high school, and then like for the future, you are just planning on like you have two different paths to go down, but these both sound really amazing. And also like business psychology, that seems like you'd get to wear fancy suits all the time. And so I personally lean towards that one.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll just like get to know you a little bit better, like your background, where you grew up, that kind of thing. So, you said that you grew up in Omaha.
Mhm.
Where did you go to high school?
Um, I went to high school I went to South High. Yeah.
Oh, South High. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I had some friends. I went to UNMC in high school, like this program, so I had friends at South too. So that's very
Yeah.
cool. Awesome.
Um, what was it like growing up in Omaha, I guess?
What was it like growing up in Omaha?
Yeah.
I think, well, I grew up mostly in South Omaha, which South Omaha has a big Latino population. South High, I believe, the the ethnic population is around 80 to 90% Latino, which is huge. So honestly, I've been mostly around people who look like me. Um, I think a really big part of Omaha, just like the little hangout place, I guess, would be like 24th Street. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was just where like that's where Cinco de Mayo was at, Independence Day was at, like that's where it was all at. And then going to church too, which is kind of close to 24th Street. So other parts of Omaha, so like the Papillion, Ralston, Millard, they were all foreign to me. So I think it was just getting to know one part of Omaha rather than the entire community.
Yeah, that's so like South O is so different from any like it's so crazy how like condensed culture is in these like pockets all throughout Omaha. But once I like went to Jacobo's for the first time and like got the salsa, I was like, I have to eat that. This is the only thing I can eat for the rest of my life. I need to eat this all the time. But yeah, so 24th Street is very cool. And also,
So my mom is Guatemalan and my dad is Mexican. My parents came here like around their 20s/30s. They came here to Omaha, which there was like my uncle, and then there was two of my uncles that were already here. And so they kind of like helped my mom get to know, or like, yeah, to get to know Omaha and then help her find a job.
your dad is Mexican and your mom is Guatemalan. Do you like for the cultural part of you, which side do you like? Do you feel that you know, like do you practice more Guatemalan cultural practices or more Mexican cultural practices, or the mix of both?
Well, I feel a lot of the things that stem from my culture has to deal with like I grew up like within the Catholic Church, and like Our Lady of Guadalupe is like a place that I just have always been went to like ever since I was little. And like a lot of the people over there are Mexican, so we'd make Mexican tamales. We'd make like anything that's Mexican, and all those things. My mom is a great cook, so she'll pick up on anything. Like she'll make Chinese food, Mexican food, like you name it. She'll find the recipe. She'll make it delicious. So I don't know. I think with my mom's ability to adapt, I was more geared towards the Mexican culture. But other than that, I know that because I am half Guatemalan, that there are some little aspects that kind of set me apart from only being Mexican. So like the Guatemalan tamales, just saying that I'm Guatemalan too.
Yeah. No, absolutely. How do you feel like your culture impacts your relationship with your family?
Mm-hmm. I think my culture, I'd say because I am like my family grew up in different countries and then I grew up here. I think our mentalities are kind of our views and perspectives and mentalities are pretty different in many ways. So when it comes to like politics and all that stuff, I like sometimes our views won't really match just because like my family grew up very very Catholic, and I grew up with those ideals, but I'm also coming to college and I'm learning so many new things, and that's something that my parents didn't really like have the opportunity to explore, like, oh, there are different religions. So I think sometimes like we do have like a little bit of conflicts of um like their perspective versus mine. But
you mentioned that you have slightly like different perspectives than your parents. Can you give an example of that?
oh
Put you on the spot, sorry.
no, it's okay. So I think one thing it has to do with like the idea of feminism, just like women can be a little bit more independent, like they don't have to be doing all the housework and things like that. I think that's one thing. I believe that like this is the way that we function. Like the man is supposed to do all these like the hard working stuff, and then like the woman, they stay here, cook, clean, do all those things. But I like to think, what, everything should be evenly distributed. So I don't know. I feel like it'd be different if I grew up having a brother in the house. And then I would probably be able to experience that firsthand of like, okay, why is my brother getting this kind of treatment? Just because I know that that does happen within like my other friends. Yeah.
I don't know if this is super relevant, but like my boyfriend's Mexican, so like his parents came from Mexico, and so his parents fight a lot because his mom wants his dad to be more like that, so she can just clean and cook, and then he doesn't, and so she gets mad, and so like it can go both ways too, where the guy's like, yeah, you just clean and cook, but then also there can be those cases where like the woman's like, just work for me. I want to clean and cook, and that's all I want to do.
Yeah.
She was raised with that ideal in her household too, to where that's all she saw, and so that's what she wanted to do. But that's also something interesting too that I learned. And did you grow up with any certain traditions that you really enjoyed?
So when we celebrate Thanksgiving, like we'll do like the traditional turkey, ham, whatever. And I noticed that a lot of Latinos don't actually do that. They'll make like tamales or like pozole and things like that. But my family, no, they want to do things a little bit more like what this country does. But you know, sometimes we'll add a little bit of tortilla and then salsa with it. So I mean, kinda. Other things like New Year's. Sometimes we'd like the majority of the time we'd go to church. But when we come back, we'll do like a little bit of playing loteria, which is basically Mexican bingo, and then like the posadas, like Fatima mentioned. Well, it's basically singing to baby Jesus and or not baby Jesus, just like Mary and Joseph who want to come into the house. I don't know, it's just weird. But I haven't been in Guatemala and Mexico since since I was 5, so I haven't been able to experience the posadas back in my parents' home countries. So I feel like that would be pretty different.
Yeah,
Um,
I relate to that. You know, like comes posada time and you're like you go. So like what posadas are? I don't know if it's 12 days or 9 days before Christmas, but what you do, you basically you pray, you sing. Kids get bags of candy. There's like reenactments of Mary and Joseph going, trying to find what was it, a barn or what did they
Yeah,
find?
they're just trying to find a place to stay.
Yeah, place to stay. So it's like a reenactment of that. And basically, like in Mexico and other Latin American countries like Guatemala, it's like a huge deal. So like there's fireworks, there's dances, it's all of this. Like they go all out 100%, and like
So I think it's just crazy, just the lack of opportunities growing up somewhere differently.
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
So
So-
you said that sorry, was somebody going to say
Oh,
something?
no, you're good.
Okay, so you said that your uncle went to the city to get
Mhm.
an education, but your mom did not. She just
Um,
like stayed in the ranchito with that.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So no, so what my uncle did, I guess like my mom's aunt and uncle wanted to take in like my uncle. My grandma has a lot of kids, so she's like, okay. Like it's fine. So he grew up in that kind of environment. You know, he was able to get a really good job, and you know, he was able to raise his kids. Also, I think it's closer to the city. But my mom, she moved out around a lot. So I think at one point, so when she turned 18 and was able to get her education, that's when she lived in the city, is what I'm assuming. But I could ask her again.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that because I didn't know if there was something to do with like if there's more men who have an education compared to women or if it was just a circumstantial thing. But
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Could you
But
describe how it is to live in American society with your cultural background?
I think it's because I've grown up in such a like I grew up in an area that has a high Latino population. I feel like um just sticking like if I ever saw another Latino I feel like that gives me a sense of comfort, just because, like, I grew up in an environment where everybody looks like me, and so like if I were to go to like when I went to also UNMC High School Alliance, or when I went to UN, or when going to UNO, like it's a big difference, just because, like, everybody doesn't just look like me. Everybody is of all races, all ethnicities, all kinds of backgrounds. So what I find myself doing, which I don't know if it's something that could be perceived positively or negatively, or just it's just a thing that just happens. But if you see another Latino in the classroom, you think, oh, like, you automatically feel like you have that instant connection. Which again, I'm not sure if that's something that should be viewed negatively, but I just feel that sense of comfortness.
I think that like finding strength in the community and being like just having like it's crappy that has to like that you have to have that thought process, but I don't think that that's on you. I think that's on like racism as a whole. So
Yeah.
So just our last question for you is, what is something that you would like an outsider to know? So someone who is not Mexican, someone who is not Guatemalan, like what do you want them to know? Like,
I feel like in regards to stereotypes, like we're all capable of everything. I think it's very important to notice your bias. Like, I think we all have biases. Like, I have my own biases. You know, everyone has their own biases. So I think it's very important to recognize that, and be able to learn, what, like, oh, okay, so like, it's not, this stereotype is not true, or maybe the stereotype is like, could be true for some people, but it's not true for everyone. And I think that's something really, really important to take notice, and this has to do with like anyone, like any kind of different cultures. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, that was very well put. Because yeah, like we do all have like our own biases, and some stereotypes are kind of applicable, but you're right that we can't like just judge somebody based off of that stereotype because everybody's different. So
It's a constant learning process, I'd say, and that's something that I would say for myself, to just trying to learn about other cultures, not just the Latino culture, the American culture. So I mean, it's okay to ask questions, and if you're wrong, um, and like let's say you accidentally say something and like it might be offensive, I think it's important to just think about, what, it's okay. Cancel culture, it sucks, but
yeah,
you know what, like it's good to try and to at least recognize, okay, you know what, I made this one mistake, but I know now this is what I'm supposed to say, or this is what I'm not supposed to say, those kinds of things.
yeah.
yeah.
And like I agree with you. Like it goes a long way of like with an outsider is like it goes a long way when you see that they're genuinely willing to try and understand and have an open mind to learn and ask questions instead of making assumptions. And because those assumptions later impact your decisions, and those decisions later impact others. Yeah. Well, again, thank you for giving us some of your time on your Friday afternoon during quarantine. We appreciate it.
yes, thank you, Carla.